This is my first stream ever. I thought we would play When the Night Comes, which is one of my favorite games ever. Yeah, I thought it was a really good starting point. Yeah, I'm really excited. We're going to be starting from the very beginning. I'm playing this on Steam. You can also find it on itch.io. And yeah, I've played through this game many times, but it is one of my favorites. So I love to dive back in, especially for now it's getting fall and closer to Halloween, because it's sort of in that season. And yeah, I thought we would be playing through at least all of Chapter 1, possibly Chapter 2 as well. Yeah, so we'll be getting there. I don't know which romance path we'll be headed through next, but yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. So I will get music going here. Just kind of have it in the background without being too disruptive. Microphone isn't the best. And yeah. But yeah, I absolutely love this game and the developers and everything that they've made. Yeah, this was actually my introduction to indie games and visual novels. Like I played some before, but this really opened up the community for me, which is really fun. So yeah, I will be playing through. You know what? I'm just going to use I'll just use my name for this username. That's where it originally got my username, was my hunter's last name was Enright, and that kind of spiraled from there. And this is the revamp to the version that was released back in. I first played it, I think, in 2019. I think it was first released 2018. Okay. Department of Enforcement Office of the Lieutenant General. You have been selected for media transfer and are authorized to report to the enforcement headquarters in Lunaris, Estria. Please find your mission information and all other relevant documents enclosed. Once the information has been digested, we order that the documents are promptly destroyed. This information is highly classified, as are all details of your relocation. Upon arrival, please report to General Augustus Willenheim. Respectfully, Lieutenant General Harold Addington III. I arrive in Lunaris at dusk. I've been traveling for days. Achievement unlocked. Here we go. We did it. First achievement, guys. I've been traveling for days. My feet are sore, my eyes are tired, and all I can think about is how much I need a damn good sleep. I'm a hunter, and I've been called here by the Lieutenant General of Estria to lead an investigation. The matter is apparently urgent if the rapid way in which I've been summoned is anything to go by. And during the revamp, it was really about like cleaning it up and adding in just like all the little details to really make a game, including voice acting, which is very exciting. They have an absolutely stellar voice cast that did a fantastic job. But yeah, the UI got a whole new boost. I believe they're also releasing on the Nintendo Switch at some point. I know that's definitely in the cards. And yeah, just a general boost for some of the visuals. I know that the main love interest got a bit of an art update, and I think some of the backgrounds got just some general like atmospheric energy sort of built into it there, which is very exciting. But yeah, it was very, the revamp release was a very exciting day. I think they released last year around August, and I think I haven't really played it since then, so I'm excited to dive in. The things that you hear about in ghost stories and fables are all real. It is my duty, my purpose, to protect humanity from those creatures that go bump in the night. There have been a series of particular violent murders here in Lunaris lately, and the local enforcers, the agency that oversees us, can't seem to put their fingers on who or what the culprit is. I was the most skilled hunter general in the previous town I was assigned to, but I eagerly welcome the change of scenery, even if it does involve murder and a healthy dose of existential dread. Though, as I sink further into the town, the feeling that washes over me is making me wonder if I made the right choice. As if I really had one at all. Our lives are bound, and I live to serve. As hunters, we're the only ones equipped to deal with such monstrosities. Plucked from our families at a young age, we're told that we hold an incredibly rare talent, not only passing the secretive initiation that gifts us with keen senses and empathetic skills, but also in possessing the mental fortitude, intellect, and obedience necessary to ensure our effectiveness and loyalty. Codex entry unlocked. Yes, that was another thing, is that there was a codex added to the game, which I believe we can see here in extras. There, and we have hunters. Oh. I'm not reading through all of that, sorry. But yeah, the codex does unlock, and I think you'll get information on some of the different monsters, like vampires, and also different short stories from some of the Love Interest past, especially some of the polyamorous routes, which is what originally drew me to the game. Was the I'd never seen that before. I hadn't really engaged a lot in the sort of indie visual novel community, and having the chance to like see these very like diverse romance options, especially someone like August, who is non-binary. It was just very exciting for me, and I'm really glad to sort of be a part of the indie dev community now, and I can really trace it all back and thank it all to When the Night Comes. All right, back to the game. I still myself and wander aimlessly through the unusually narrow streets, unable to focus on much else other than the thought of a warm meal and a comfy bed. The only thing that distracts me from such thoughts is the way the sky turns to an inky, infinite black. Wisps of mist swirl around my ankles, seeping out from every crack and crevice. Flickers of magic are present within the smoky tendrils, and I can't help but wonder if my mind is playing tricks on me. Let's see here. Gorgeous background. It's a creepy little small town, isn't it? I turn a sharp corner and see people running, scooping up small children, scrambling to get back inside. I hear the sound of doors slamming and locking, echoing off the crooked stonework. Curtains are drawn, windows are closed, and then darkness, the abnormal kind. Although the stars are shining brightly at a glance and the crescent moon hangs low, neither offer much light. It's unsettling, to say the least. A chill rolls down my spine and I walk faster, my sore feet continuing their protest. The instincts that have been a part of me since my initiation kick in, and I have a feeling deep in the pit of my stomach that I need to get inside and fast. I spot a maze-light lantern as I head further down the street. The dull blue flame flickers invitingly in the darkness, drawing me in. No. I love this little shop. I mean, I might be biased because Finn and Ezra were my first romance in the game. But I definitely have a bias to this location in particular, just because it's so cute and charming, and I adore it. I push the weathered wooden door open, and the light tinkle of a bell that hangs above my head announces my presence. Okay. I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. I'm still kind of testing things out, just trying to balance between the sound in the game and then my own audio, just because I know my microphone isn't the best. I definitely want to hear the music, because it's very good music. It's empty, only very dimly lit by a few worn down candles. The shelves are stocked with curious trinkets and jars of strange looking ingredients and potions. An apparently endless collection of dusty old books lines the walls. It smells faintly of incense and a little bit of... is that ozone? Yes, like the way the air smells just before a storm. Like lightning. I hear footsteps and turn to find their owner, and I'm taken aback by the figure that appears from behind a pair of well-placed curtains.
I was just closing up, but can I help you?
Oh my god. I forgot about the voice acting. Okay, we're also gonna turn it down a little bit because that was just very loud, but oh my god. I forgot how much I love the voice acting in this game. Okay, we'll try it there. I love him. Oh. Wide eyes burn into me, brighter than the clearest of emeralds. His aura feels distinctly magical, and I'm very aware I'm looking at a witch. A powerful one at that. I was like going into this, I'm like, I don't know if I'll do like a romance route or I'll do probably something that's not Finn and Ezra, because that is my main route. But they get me every time. Every time I start this game, I'm like, I just want to do the route again. That's what happens when you start the game with these two. Codex entry unlocked. There you go. Another one. I'm sorry to intrude, but I appear to be a little lost. I'm looking for the tavern. His gaze falls to my weapons and my sash, his cheeks darkening as realization apparently sets in.
Are you the new hunter?
I am. I offer him a wry smile. Is it that obvious? He returns my smile, and I can't help but feel welcome, at home even.
Oh, just a little. It's lovely to meet you. The town has been alight with gossip about you this week, you know. My name is Ezra, by the way.
I'm great. It's nice to meet you, Ezra.
Did anyone happen to tell you not to wander the streets when darkness falls? As capable as I'm sure you are, it's not advised. Especially these days.
I shake my head, still a little out of sorts from the long journey. Then, much to my embarrassment, my stomach decides to grumble loudly. How rude of me. You must be starving. Take a seat in the back room and I'll quickly fix you something up. You really don't have to do that. I'd better be on my way.
You'll do no such thing. It's too dangerous out there. Please, I insist. It's no trouble, really.
We all need someone like Ezra to look after us. I can hardly refuse when he's looking at me like that. Sweet boy. Oh, and I love. I'm just gonna stop at every background and admire it. It's so cute. I just love his little like teacups. They're so pretty, and the sweet drawings that Finn did of him, and the flower up here. It's so cute, and the little fairy lights. I love everything about it. I want to live in this house with him. I nod to follow him as he parts the curtain to reveal a cozy living space. There is a small kitchenette with a cricket dining table nestled in the corner. Is a tattered but comfy-looking sofa. Ezra fills an old steel kettle and pops it on the stove, igniting the stubborn burner with a grunt before he turns and offers me a smile.
I'm just going to pop upstairs and get you some blankets. I really do insist you stay until morning. You must be exhausted, and I'd hate to send you out into the darkness knowing...
He pauses, stopping himself. Sorry, drinking water.
Just wait here. And please, make yourself comfortable.
I can think of nothing worse than even walking across the street right now, let alone across town. So I swallow a polite protest. Thank you, Ezra. He disappears up a narrow staircase, and my curiosity instantly gets the better of me. A solitary candle burns on the countertop, with colorful, magical little lights hanging from various picture frames and shelves, as well as an abundance of luscious green plants. It's utterly enchanting, just like its owner, and obviously very well loved. There are a generous amount of personal belongings and keepsakes littering every possible nook. I eye a tiny dish that's overflowing with brightly colored jewelry. Beside it sits a pile of crumpled parchment. Some of the pages are covered in elegant looping script, and others are filled with lovingly rendered portraits. I tentatively reach for one of the sketches at the top of the pile, but a loud creak startles me. Uh-oh. I turn, as alert I've always been taught to be, as my fingers edge towards my weapon. The hairs on the back of my neck stand to attention, and I immediately know there's a creature nearby. Oh my god. Who could it be? That's when I see them. A pair of glowing, fierce golden eyes peeking up at me from the previously hidden hatch in the floorboards. Which would be terrifying. Like, that'd be so scary. Just like the floorboard creaks open and there is a creature under there. And before I can even think about defending myself. There he is. There he is. I am pinned to the wall by a firm, cold, and entirely not human arm. Hey, handsome. He looks so good when he's so angry.
Who the hell are you? Where is Ezra?
The fuck did they go? Incredible voice acting, of course. It's just, yeah, I love him. I love it to bits. His lips curl into a snarl, affording me what feels like an incredibly pointed view of a set of long, sharp fangs. If I hadn't already clocked with his deathly pallor, there'd be no second guessing what kind of creature I'm dealing with here. Vampire. I know I'd already be quite dead if that's what he truly wanted, and I feel nothing from him other than an overwhelming desire to protect something or someone. His aura is panicked, but distinctly non-threatening, so I decide to relax against his hold. I cautiously raise my hands in surrender in the hope that he'll stand down. We're not taught to harm creatures who have no intention to harm us. It isn't what we stand for. At least, not the honorable hunters. Plus, vampires are the closest thing there is to humans in the Demonology Handbook, and I've met a few reasonable ones in my time. Emphasis on a few. Finn's reasonable. He's a reasonable guy. He retreats a little, just as I hoped, just enough for me to gather my composure. Our first choice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know what you're here for. Even if I hadn't played this game a million times, I think I would make an educated guess of what you're here for. Ezra's safe. Ezra's safe, my guy. Ezra is fine. I swear it. Those bright, they're blinking. It's such a small detail, the blinking, but it's so charming. I don't know. I love it. It's very cute. Those bright, disarming eyes burn into my own, a chill skittering across my skin. He looks like he's searching for something, his dark brows twitching as he studies my face, a thick scar cutting through the one on the right. Something that looks like a lot of relief settles across his face. I can't help but wonder what a vampire is doing sneaking into Ezra's home at this hour. I don't know. I'm sure he's done that a lot.
If you're playing tricks on me, I'll have your head. Understand?
Yes, sir. I nod once, my hand still raised where you can see I mean him no harm. I'm not lying. He's safe. He's upstairs. I tip my chin towards the staircase in the hope that he'll use his head and seek Ezra out with those impressive senses of his. He takes a step back, and he still doesn't seem to want to trust me. I don't entirely blame him. I know how he feels. The sound of the kettle whistling as it comes to a boil distracts him, and he visibly relaxes. We're just having tea. There's just tea, my guy. I promise. His gaze quickly darts to the staircase, and then back to me. He steps back, the candlelight illuminating his angular face, all sharp lines and hair as black as the night. He's otherworldly, obviously attractive, in that tall, dark, and dead way. And his left arm is missing from the shoulder down. Oh, his prosthetic is so cool. Like, I just love the way it's designed with the, all of the, like, spirals and designs across it, and the way it sort of comes to life with magic, especially in his chapter 6 CG. I believe chapter 6. Yeah, the one, his battle CG. It's very cool. In his place is an advanced looking prosthetics, flowing with looks to be incredibly advanced magic. He catches me looking at it and quirks that scarred brow.
Like what you see? Sorry, it's not for sale.
Ezra appears from upstairs, his eyes wide as he surveys the sight before him.
Finn? What are you doing here?
Being a protective boyfriend. He thinks I'm in trouble. Iron fingers curl around Ezra's forearm, almost as though he's checking he's real. The prosthetic thrums brightly as if it's responding to the touch. I sense you felt uneasy and I came immediately. Are you okay? Ezra smiles, covering Finn's hand with his own to gently pat it, a reassuring gesture. The intricate pattern etched into the dark iron pulsed like a heartbeat. I was only very briefly startled by the appearance of our new friend here. And he heard his heartbeat. Oh my god. He just came running. Which would have to be, I think it's like a 10-minute walk from the catacombs to Ezra's house. So he was running. He was sprinting. He's a track star. He wanted to make sure Ezra was safe. Well, with all the murders around, you gotta protect your boy. I completely get it. Right. Finn turns to me and dips his head in an apology.
I'm sorry about that less than savory introduction, Hunter. Things are a little on edge here lately.
I'd never have guessed. Oh, Ezra's laugh is so cute. Ezra shakes his head, clearly amused by my sarcasm.
I'm fine. You really don't need to jump every stranger that passes this way.
That final reassurance seems to make the tension melt from Finn's broad shoulders. Sorry, Gray. You don't need to be alarmed. He's an ally, I swear it. Even if he doesn't give the best first impression. Finn offers me a genuine, almost soft smile, but he looks guilty. As he should be, I suppose. I catch Ezra eyeing me warily, clearly sensing my apprehension. It isn't like it's every night you find yourself in a magic shop staring at a witch and an apparently friendly vampire. Finn's whole demeanor changed the second he lay eyes on Ezra, and I feel any final traces of fear melting away as he steps forward and offers me his hand. That smile crosses his lips as mischievous as cold fingers grip my own in a firm handshake when I reach for him.
It's truly a pleasure to meet you.
His pretty eyes brush over me like a caress. His pupils dilating, and I feel myself swaying, leaning towards him almost unconsciously. I always do like that sound. It always kind of reminds me of like ASMR. It's very comforting. There's a soft, I don't think it's supposed to be comforting, but it's nice. There's a soft whisper of muffled thoughts echoing my mind, and I can't quite tell if they belong to me or him. It's soothing, and whatever he's doing grants me the foresight to see that he's most certainly is harmless, that he bears no ill will towards me. Something tells me he now sees that I'm harmless too.
Finnegan, stop that. It's not polite.
Finn closes his eyes briefly, breaking whatever connections he's created with me, and he offers me a killer smile. Literally. Shit, those fangs are really no joke. Must be pushing at least 5 centuries. I've heard of vampires enthralling their victims before a kill, but that felt more like a request to be understood, like he wanted to show me he could be trusted. He exchanges an almost sheepish, knowing glance with Ezra, and I quickly feel my mind clearing itself. It's interesting to see such a powerful creature wither under a witch's gaze. Sorry, I'm just checking. He looks at me and our eyes lock. I nod once, appreciating that he cared enough to put me at ease, and then he's grinning again, wickedly. I love that sprite. I hope he didn't hear anything untoward in there. Maybe. Anyway, Ezra fusses with the kettle, pouring me a cup of fragrant tea and offering it to me on a pretty floral saucer. Here, this will help you get a good night's sleep. I take the cup with a nod, both of them staring intently as I take a small sip. It's good, refreshing, and exactly what I need. So, Gray, are you looking forward to becoming part of this ouch! Ezra elbows him in the ribs, throwing him a stern warning glance, and Finn flinches a little too dramatically for a big scary creature. Lovely town?
Do you have any idea what you've gotten yourself into?
No, I have not. I most certainly have not. Is it really that bad? Or I like a little adventure? I think we like a little bit of adventure. It's fine. We're here. We're down the clown. I'm used to a little adventure. I truly hope I can help. Ezra looks defeated, but strangely optimistic. I hope my words sound honest because I really have little choice. I have to help. It's my job. My duty. Well, you certainly seem capable enough. Finn grimaces, exchanging a strange look with Ezra, and I feel like they're not telling me something.
My clan and I are at your disposal, should you require any assistance.
Clan? He nods, but I decide not to press him for details. Yet, I definitely like to know how many supposed good vampires reside here in Lunaris. I offer them both a smile and finish up my tea. Ezra hurries to take the empty cup from me and sets it on the table. Oh. He's so sweet. He places a hand on Finn's arm. Finn, Gray needs to rest. Maybe you should head home? Finn nods, and Ezra follows him as he heads for the hatch. They embrace briefly, and Finn whispers something into Ezra's ear. The wisp grinning brightly as he pulls away. Then, Finn's warm, golden gaze locks with my own, and he smiles.
Be sure to take care. If you ever need anything, just scream, and I'll come running.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Only during the night, though. He winks, and my traitor cheeks threaten to warm at the sight of it. He notices and laughs quietly, a deep, comforting rasp that I could most certainly find myself getting used to. It was nice to meet you, Finn. Finn gracefully lowers himself into the hatch, and Ezra stares in the darkness until the door slams shut. They're literally in love, you guys. He turns and retrieves a tin of biscuits from the cupboard, offering them to me and waiting expectantly until I take a handful. He's like, you are going to eat. I'm going to feed you, water you, you're going to be okay.
Please don't let our apprehension worry you. I'm sure you're more than capable of getting to the bottom of all this. Some are saying the town has been cursed, but I sense something else. Something bigger.
That doesn't sound good. Well, it's always a terrible night for a curse. Even though we've only just met, I feel like I can trust him. Within moments of my arrival, I could tell that something about this town is off, and I intend to get to the bottom of this mess. I have to live up to my apparently impressive reputation, right?
We've lost people, good people, and the investigation seems to have just halted. We don't know what more we can do. Ugh. Look at me getting all emotional when you're probably dead on your feet and desperate to get some sleep.
I don't want to be emotional. People are dying, Ezra. He quickly gathers himself, forcing a laugh to break the somber mood. Thank you for letting me stay here, Ezra. I'll be out of your hair first thing. Ah! This is the cutest sprite in the game. I don't know. This is the best one. It's the best one, bar none. It's so cute. His little laughing. It's so sweet. He's just a sweetheart. I love all of the love interests equally, and I love Finn and Ezra maybe a little bit more equally. I stifle a yawn as Ezra turns to fuss with some blankets. I'm thoroughly looking forward to sailing upon the sofa, however tiny it may be.
Really, it's no problem at all. Wouldn't dream of letting you wander the streets at this hour, especially after that journey. I'll see you in the morning. If you need anything, just shout.
Everyone is only summoned by shouting. It's the only way to get anyone's attention in this town is just start screaming. He heads upstairs, and I eagerly remove my boots. The relief is instant when I settle up against the cushions. I can read, I swear. Pulling the soft blankets up to my chin. I'll get better at this as we go along. Despite the abundance of questions that currently flood my mind, I swiftly fall into a blissful, dreamless sleep. Also, I think we're only doing chapter 1. I underestimated how slowly I read. I think I talk too much between there, but that's okay. I got things to say. After I wake and Ezra eagerly makes me more tea, I join him in the shops as I prepare to leave. I wait patiently while he deals with what sounds like a particular difficult customer. I wonder who that could be. Doing my best to eavesdrop as I survey the books that line the walls. Most of them are languages I don't recognize. Don't understand. Maybe I can't understand this one either. There's a strange energy in the air, and my senses tell me that Ezra's visitor is also of magical origin.
You really can't just drop by like this and expect me to have what you need right away. These things take time.
They're so gorgeous.
That's always your excuse, Ezra. Do you not want me to work hard to save this town?
Listen, Ezra's doing his best. Ezra sighs, apparently not willing to argue, or maybe he knows that he'll lose. The tall figure he's bickering with turns to me, and I'm caught off guard by their piercing eyes, their stare cutting me right to my core. They scowl, their lips purse as they turn on a towering heel, like I have a target on my forehead. Ezra looks like he's about to try and say something to stop them, but they wave dismissively over their shoulder. Hi, baby. I love this one. Look at them. Looks so good in morning light. Also, I'm gonna turn my brightness up because the sun is right in my eyes right now. But I'll just leave it on there because they look absolutely stunning. Okay, that's better. They come to a stop before me and steal their gaze, staring me down and stunning me from head to toe in a slow, pointed drag. I register the familiar violet sash that adorns their torso, the very same as mine, and I exchange a quick glance at Ezra. He looks apologetic as he hurriedly emerges from behind the counter to join us. An enforcer, then, one who apparently doesn't feel like it's necessary to wear the standard uniform. I love that, because I think the enforcer uniform is black, but August is like, I'm not wearing that. I'm gonna wear whatever I want, because I look fabulous in it, and I respect that. Or maybe they simply think they're too important. They are. They're very important. They have a commanding presence about them, and I can't help but wonder what rank they hold.
So you're my new subordinate? Interesting.
Again, incredible voice acting. Obsessed. Gus. August? So this is the infamous Major General Willingham that I've been assigned to. They're a prolific figure countrywide, and they're known for being responsible for one of the best hunters that Estria has to offer. That's our girl. That's our girl Piper. It will truly be an honor to serve under them. Despite their apparently icy disposition. Historically, enforcers aren't the friendliest bunch. They live to serve just as we do, but they hold a much higher authority and love to remind us about it. August won't do that to us, right? The way Ezra says their name carried a warning, and August scowls at him briefly before turning their attention back to me. I notice how tired they look, their eyes heavy-lidded, their skin pale, and they even almost sway where they stand. Apparently, Ezra notices too, a flash of concern crossing his features as he quickly rushes to gather some ingredients from a locked cabinet. It looks like he's done this before, seen them like this before. It's a pleasure to meet you, Enforcer Willingham. I'm...
Yes, I know exactly who you are. Your arrival has caused quite a stir, and more than a little paperwork.
Yes, you're gonna have to put up with the paperwork, because I'm gonna kill your monster for you. They glance over at Ezra, watching as he breaks off a few sprigs from a neatly wrapped bundle of herbs and pops them in a glass vial. I love their sigh. Their foot taps impatiently on the floor, an exasperated scoff falling from their lips as they turn to look at me once again, eyes rolling. So tell me, Hunter Enright, are you ready to partake in one of the most baffling missions I've come across? It could be a little cheeky, but no, I think we will be polite to our new enforcer. Yes, General. Of course, General. I'm looking forward to working with you. They quirk a perfectly sculpted brow. Look at it, gorgeous. Their lips pursed in contemplation.
I don't suffer fools, and I certainly don't tolerate tardiness. If you're capable, we'll get along just fine.
I don't know, you might have suffered one fool. I don't know. Their unrelenting gaze burns into my own, and I swallow thickly, offering them a genuine smile as I can muster under such scrutiny. I think everything will work out. I think so too. This won't be as effective, but I'll do the job for now. As August eagerly reaches for the vial clutched in Ezra's palm, the witch pulls away and fixes them with the word gaze.
Please stop doing this to yourself. They're pushing you too far and you know it. You're better than this.
Now, we both know that's not true. Loaded. Loaded. You know, I absolutely love Ezra and August dynamic, like having that history between them. It does add sort of this element to, like, just August's presence in town, because I really think August is such a driving force for the story. Like, obviously the hunter is the protagonist, they're what you play as, but August is really kind of the main character of just this whole story, if that makes sense, and having sort of their relationships being repaired being like a huge part of what the hunter accomplishes. I don't know, I love how it kind of plays out, and it really sort of fits with the whole theme of the story, which I think is just like bonds of a community, and just I think one of the main themes of When the Night Comes is sort of actively choosing to be good, and good is a choice that you make. And we see that again and again, I think sort of exemplified through every character, including both August and Ezra. I don't know. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I might talk about more as we sort of get further into the game. Alright. Ezra surrenders the vial, the viscous violet liquid glowing dully as August takes it with a trembling hand. Ezra squeezes August's fingers before pulling away. He looks impossibly sad. There's always a choice. Remember that. August seems lost for words, but manages to maintain their carefully crafted annoyance. They reach for the door with yet another roll of their eyes, pausing briefly to catch my gaze.
I'll see you tomorrow. Don't be late.
Yes, General. We stand outside the shop, the sky bright, but the town somehow still feeling inherently gloomy.
If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. Please don't hesitate to stop by.
You won't get rid of me if you say that. Oh, I wouldn't mind. He's so sweet. I'm just gonna keep saying that, because he is. He's a sweetheart. His smile softens, and I'm incredibly grateful that I stumbled across him. I mean it, though. Anytime. And be careful. Thank you, Ezra. I bid him farewell, reluctantly leaving the warmth and safety of the shop behind to follow the rickety old street signs that point me towards the tavern, the place I'll be calling home for the foreseeable future. Go. Here's the wolf. Alright, Alright, water break at the tavern. The tavern is bustling and full to the brim with red-faced patrons, the tables littered with empty tankards. It's only 9:30 in the morning, but clearly this town likes to drown their sorrows, even if the sun has barely risen. Oof. Y'all, it's not good. I push my way through the bar, and a scowling barmaid rolls her eyes at me as I politely raise my hand to get her attention. Cute. What? I have a room here? Could I get a check-in, please? She probably rolls her eyes again and ducks behind the bar, reappearing within a few seconds, looking even more pissed off. Room isn't ready until 2. You have to get a drink or make yourself scarce. I muster a polite, albeit forced smile, turning to find a table, but... Hi, baby! I love Piper. I'm obsessed with all of them. But yeah, Piper, she's gorgeous and I love her. I find myself face to face with a striking, scowling woman who appears to be blocking me entirely on purpose.
So this is the famous hunter that's taking my place then?
Uh-oh.
You don't look like anything special to me. Come to gloat, have you? Rub it in my face.
I love her voice actor. Alright, nice to meet you, or do I know you? That's all rude. We're to be polite. We're polite and helpful. That's me. It's nice to meet you. I'm Gray. She looks taken aback, clearly not expecting me to be polite, and she quickly straightens up, her features softening, kind of. I know exactly who you are.
I'm Piper. Piper Merriman.
Piper Merriman. I love her. It's such a cute name. And I'm the, former general. I was leading this investigation until you came along. I had no idea. I just go with where I'm ordered. You of all people must know we don't have much of a choice. Her gaze drops to her hands, and she picks at a non-existing piece of lint on her trousers. Yes, well, I do know that, I suppose. So, I've really been called here to take Piper Merriman's place? She's a legend, having racked up more kills than some of the most seasoned hunters, all at the tender age of 24. I feel terrible. I wasn't told I'd be replacing anyone, and her being upset suddenly seems pretty justified. I'd be devastated if I was demoted too. We worked so hard and put our lives on the line. All the while, the majority of the enforcers sit safely behind their desks, holding our fate in hands that aren't stained with blood, while our fingers drip with it. She's so pretty. Yeah. I love her freckles. Obsessed. Gorgeous. Piper makes a vague gesture at the barmaid, and she swiftly handed a glass of warm amber liquid she delicately cradles in her palm. She steps closer with narrowed eyes, surveying me in a way that almost reminds me of August. Pretty sure I won't be getting Employee of the Month anytime soon. Maybe eventually. Eventually everyone likes you, Hunter, don't worry. We could always work together. I'm getting the feeling I'll need the help. And I'm sorry, truly. I can't imagine how frustrating this must be for you. She continues to look annoyed, but I can tell a more vulnerable emotion lingers beneath this seemingly rock-hard exterior. She swirls her arm around, watching the gentle slosh of it as it coats the sides of the glass.
Yes, well, that's what I get for being utterly shit at my job, isn't it?
No, don't say that, Piper. You're very good at your job. It's because they're all corrupt. She scoffs a laugh, but the smile that curls at her ruby lips doesn't reach her eyes. Anyway, I'm sure I'll see you in the field. I'm not totally useless, apparently.
They just have me doing the awful jobs. The stuff that doesn't actually matter. What a waste of a perfectly amazing hunter.
Damn right. Enforcers. They're just a bunch of pencil-pushing wankers. I stay silent, sensing she might need someone to vent to. I've been there. Our job can be hard, and not just on our bodies.
Anyway, I can see I'm boring you. I'll just be over there, continuing to drown my sorrows until Willenheim summons me.
You're such an arsehole. I huff a laugh, covering my mouth with my hand in a poor attempt to stifle the noise, and she seems briefly amused by my reaction. She offers me a thoughtful glance, then sighs loudly.
Don't take any shit from them, okay? Come and see me if they bother you. I'm not afraid to stick my boot up their backside. Again.
Anyway, I'll see you around. Bye, Pepper. She doesn't wait for me to respond, and with a flick of long chestnut hair, she's gone. I spot her disappearing into the heavy crowd that's mulling around in the center of the tavern. A crowd that's apparently pretty pissed off about something. Ooh. I decide to investigate. Might as well get stuck right in. What could possibly go wrong? I push my way through the crowd, and what I find both baffles and amuses me. A lichen. A hybrid lichen. Sat smack bang in the middle of the tavern, arms folded across his chest. He has a smirk plastered across his scarred lips, his wolf ears twitching dismissively as the town folk hoot and holler at him. The lichen doesn't seem to care and grabs his drink, taking a deep swig. My first impression is that he seems perfectly harmless, even his cockiness is almost a palpable aura. As I take a step closer, however, I can see the scars he bears. Seasoned scrapper, then. Not shy in the least, and eager to stir up the ire of authorities or other creatures, apparently. He spots me then, his scarlet eyes flashing, and then he's kicking out the chair in front of him and gesturing for me to sit down. Either he's bold, or he's got something to prove, and I find myself being watched by the eyes of every tavern goer. We're all waiting to see if I'm going to oblige to the object of their disdain, and the tavern falls deathly silent. As I take a seat, the crowd slowly begins to disperse. Though, their eyes stay firmly fixed upon both myself and the lichen as they return to their respective seats.
They're lucky I kept my cool. Wouldn't you say, Hunter?
Hey, Alker. His ears and his tail. It's very cute. He's incredibly adorable for, 6-something werewolf. You seem harmless. Yeah, you seem harmless. You're fine. You seem harmless. Oh, that seems mean. It's fine. You seem harmless enough. I think I can handle you. His brows draw together into a deep scowl, but he still looks relatively relaxed, playful even.
You do you? Would you care to test that theory?
Again, I'm just gonna say this, every voice actor did incredible. One of his wolf ears twitches, and I can't help but smile at the loose threat. Maybe some other time. How about you tell me your name, and why apparently you have a death wish hanging around a tavern full of humans who clearly aren't fond of non-humans? Little ears move, it's very cute. He bristles, his tail wrapping around the legs of the chair as he places his now empty tankard on the table. The noise draws a gasp from nearly every single patron, and I glance over Piper, who sits in the corner, either oblivious or uncaring.
It's Alcar, and I don't have a death wish. Not today, anyway.
Hey, handsome. So good, so good. Only today? He smiles, holding his arms back across his chest.
You don't need to concern yourself with me, Hunter. I stay far away from your kind. From everyone. Mostly.
I'll turn the music down just a little bit. Might be a little late, but that's okay. I'm learning. Oh. That quiet. Yeah, we'll go there.
I do enjoy coming here to rile this lot up, though. Unless they come looking for me, of course.
He glances over his shoulder, catching Piper's gaze. She flips him off, and he turns back to face me, his shoulders shaking with his laughter.
I'm sure you'll grow to despise me in time. Just like every other idiot in this hopeless town.
Literally could not. You are ridiculously lovable, Alker. He stands, and all the patrons stiffen. It's so quiet you could hear a pin drop, but Alker merely rolls his pretty eyes and flashes me a sharp grin. He looms over me, close enough that I can smell the earthly, distinctly petrichor scent of him.
If my advice is worth anything to you, then trust me when I say to trust no one.
He stares me down. Even you?
Especially me. Goodbye, Hunter.
Bye. I watch him leave, feeling everyone's gaze still fixed upon me. I compose myself and offer them a smile, as genuine as I can muster after such an odd encounter. I glance at the clock, and it's only 10:30. I have some time to kill. I also love this background. I just love the theme of lights coming in, and I don't know, it's very peaceful and creepy at the same time, which, you know what, that's kind of this game, you know? Oh, hello. Sorry, I also keeping up on with chat and everything. Hello. Sorry. I'm still trying to figure everything else and try to slip back and forth, but hello, hello. The town is small, very small, and it takes me less than an hour to walk it from end to end. On my travels, I find myself drawn to the cemetery, and the scent of blood is thick here. That would be because this is the site of the last murder. I come across a patch of scorched grass. The earth around it is trampled by the boots of enforcers and hunters alike. The remnants of a crumpled gravestone are littered around a perfect black outline of a body, and I take a deep breath, crouching down to skim my fingers along the edges. I close my eyes and try to picture it. What happened to them? And it's hard to truly see, knowing how stark the darkness is here. It's a blur, a mere memory, but I feel terror. They were so scared, utterly alone in their final moments. But something sticks out to me over all that fear. I'm sorry. I love you. The words hit me, my chest aching, and I feel an intense longing. I feel love, the powerful and unconditional kind that snatches the air from your lungs. I take a deep breath and force myself to stand, trying to shake the feeling. I'll find out who killed you. I'm startled by the sudden sound of heavy footsteps, my hand hovering over my weapon. I look around frantically, on guard and ready, and then a striking figure appears. Hey, handsome. Oh, so cute. He's clad in fine clothing, his long hair tied in a neat ponytail, the crown of his head adorned with delicate jewelry, and I should be unsettled. The pointed teeth and sharp claws indicating he's definitely not human, but he's smiling? Then a flicker of a spade-tipped tail tells me all I need to know. I'm staring at a glamour demon, though I'm finding it hard to be alarmed by its presence, which seems to be a theme here in Lunaris. Codex entry unlocked. We got so many now. Let's do a quick. We got all these things. Witches, vampires, enforcers, demons. Still more to go. His eyes are a warm chestnut brown, and they sparkle in the dappled sunlight as he gazes at me in wonder.
Hello, Hunter. I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Oh. You have, or don't move? No, he's sweet. You have? You've been expecting me? I watch as his cheeks darken, his gaze dropping to the grass. Oh. He's so cute. Also, did you know there is a requirement here in Lunaris, and it's, you have to have, your chest out. It's a requirement. Every single character. It's, yeah. And you know what? I like it. I like the policy.
Well, people talk and I listen, and they've done a lot of talking about you. I hope I didn't scare you.
Well, he's certainly not like any other demon I've encountered. The not trying to kill me part helps. You didn't. It's okay.
You're sure? I've gotten used to startling people.
I promise you that I've seen scarier. His tail moving is also extremely cute. He laughs, his tail flickering. Okay, sorry. Oh, I'm certain you have. His aura is calm, if not a little skittish, and I decide he's probably more scared of me than I am of him. He's still hard to read, though, and that's frustrating, but not necessarily alarming. What's your name? The demon exhales sharply, apparently relieved that I'm making conversation rather than drawing my weapon.
It's Omen.
You've got to be kidding me. It's very cheesy, but no, we won't. He doesn't get it. It's okay though. Well, let's introduce myself. A demon called Omen. He's a good omen. Well, that's reassuring. Clearly a sire who has a good sense of humor. I'm Gray. So, how's your first day in Lunaris been? I have a quiet laugh, yet again perplexed by the wonderfully weird inhabitants of this town. He's certainly the most polite demon I've ever met. I guess it's been fine. I'm just a little overwhelmed. Strange town, isn't it? Omen laughs, the sound musical and almost infectious, causing my own smile to widen.
You're being polite. It's more than strange. It's a mess. A mess I and many others hope you can fix.
Oh. I grimace, my gaze drifting back to the place where the last murder victim lay. I sigh and muster as much confidence as I possibly can. I can do this. I can solve these murders. So, absolutely no pressure then. Omen shrugs playfully.
No pressure at all. Welcome to Lunaris.
Alright, I think that's the end of chapter 1, which I forgot these aren't chaptered anymore. It was the end of chapter 1 back in the original one. So yeah, I will make a save here, and yeah, it's only been an hour. I'll keep going and get back to I think I'll finish chapter 2 today. Because then we get to do the Lunar Festival, right? Which is very cute. Okay. The next day, I make it to the enforcement headquarters with time to spare after August's thinly veiled threat about tardiness yesterday. I had a terrible night's sleep on scratchy sheets, and I couldn't possibly feel less ready to face my less than friendly superior. Well, they could be friendly, they're just not right now. I raise my fist to knock on the door, but the muffled conversation I hear coming from inside has me hesitating. It sounds heated, and I glance at the clock on the wall behind me to check the time. I have 1 minute before I'm sure General Wilhelm will admonish me for being late. So, I take a deep breath, and I knock. The voices stop suddenly. I hear a clack of heels, and then... Oh. You can see they're mad, because they're starting to glow. Yes? Oh, it's you. They quickly glance at the clock.
Well, you're on time, at least. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know it's terribly cozy out there, but please come in.
I nod politely and quickly step into the enforcer's office. It's beautifully decorated with neatly arranged bookcases lining the walls that are laden with a collection of trinkets and tomes that possibly rival Ezra's. There's a huge desk in the middle that overflows with reports and letters, and a half-empty ink pot, and an elegant sapphire quill poised and ready. Then, as if I'm experiencing a rather vivid case of deja vu, Piper appears before me, looking decidedly less impressed than she did in the tavern yesterday.
Hunter.
Nice to see you again. Hi. Hello, Piper. It's nice to see you. She stares at me, her eyes narrowed as her gaze flickers to August, who stands quietly just behind me. Their hands are clasped behind their back, a dark eyebrow quirked almost expectantly. Piper frowns at them, her nose crinkling before she swiftly turns her attention back to me. Yes, you too. I offer a smile, but the one she offers in return doesn't quite meet her eyes. I appreciate the effort nonetheless. So, you two have already met, In the tavern again, were you, Piper? August sighs heavily when we both fail to respond. Listen, a girl's allowed to drink. You demoted her. And Piper manages to look anywhere but her superior. Anyway, they run their hands along the edge of their desk, inspecting their perfectly dust-free fingertip as Piper huffs in their general direction.
I know you have very important business to attend to, but I'm not finished with you yet, Willenheim.
Is that so?
I've given you your mission, you've complained about it, loudly. So, pray tell, Major,
Ooh.
what else could there possibly be?
Cheap shot. Piper flinches, and I see her demeanor shift. Her admirable determination withering and dying as that word rolls off August's tongue. A harsh reminder of her demotion, and one that clearly stings. I wonder if I'll ever get a chance to ask her about it, to finally know exactly what she did that warrants her being made such an example of.
Nice, August. Really nice.
You could quite literally cut the tension here with a dull-bladed dagger. It's not awkward at all. We have a meeting, General? August sighs, glancing at Piper almost guiltily, but the sorry expression fades the second she meets their gaze. Yes, we do. Is that everything for today, Merriman? Is that even... I wasn't asking. Ugh! They take a deep breath, pinching the bridge of their nose between a forefinger and a thumb. You're dismissed for today, Merriman. They stare each other down, and I wonder how the hell they ever managed to become one of the most successful elimination teams in all of Escria. I've heard countless weird and wonderful stories about their partnership, of Piper's unparalleled strength and August's unmatched intelligence. But here, now, all I see is a dispirited hunter and impossibly tired enforcer. Harry is on his way. I suggest you depart quickly.
Shit.
She blanches at that, and I can almost see her admitting defeat. Her shoulders relax and the fur in her brow fades.
Fine. I'll go and look for your possibly a small chimera, but probably a big fucking cat. One day you'll have to stop punishing me, you know.
God, the way her voice breaks on that line. Piper grabs a set of expensive-looking daggers from the chair in front of the desk, dropping them to her back with haste. She pauses in front of me, and those dark eyes soften as she meets my gaze.
See you around, Hunter. Enjoy your important meeting, and remember what I said. Foot. Ass.
She chases another glance at August, and they suddenly become very interested in studying their perfectly manicured nails. With a wink, she then fully spins to face August, squaring up to them playfully. The enforcer towers above her, still uncaring, still unbothered. Twat. And with that, she turns on her heel and slams the door so hard it shakes on its frame. August walks around the back of their desk, practically falling into the well-used leather chair. They look so good. Oh, bags in their eyes. Oh dear. I scan the piles upon piles of paperwork that litter the surface, taking in the countless reports and letters, scribbled diagrams, and gruesome drawings. I get the impression August is in over their head. The disorder of which all of this information makes my fingers twitch. They watch me carefully, stifling a yawn with trembling hands. I know. Trust me, I know. As much as I hate to admit it, we've got nothing. As of right now, I suspect everyone in this town, as should you. Though I may really not know them yet, I sense that this type of vulnerability I'm seeing is rare. August doesn't strike me as the type to admit defeat so easily, and something more serious than the usual stress of the job seems to be lingering under the surface. After what I witnessed back in Ezra's shop, I can't help but wonder what they were like before all of this. The way the young witch looked at them. It was pity. Ezra pitied August. August huffs a quiet laugh, relaxes back in their chair, and for the first time since we met, they seem to let their guard down.
I don't know why Harry decided you were the right person for this job above all others, but I trust him implicitly. So, whatever plan he has for you, we had better make it work.
They pause, staring me down with those icy blue eyes. Now, are you ready to begin? I mean, we could do August's rope, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the non-romance route. Quite possibly. Just because I did it in the original story, but I haven't actually done the route in the revamp yet, so I might do that. I think will be the plan here, because I do really enjoy that it has that option. Just because, you know, it gives sort of a different perspective on it, and, you know, you get kind of all the content in the game as well. I'm glad that it's an option. So I think that the plan is to, do the non-romance path. I think it'll be good. So, yes, let's start, General. I feel impatient and restless. I'm practically crawling out of my skin as I sit in this chair. Surely I should be out there already, talking and gathering evidence. What's the first step? August flicks through the document covered in an elegant-looking script, barely glancing up at me when they next speak. You meet Harry. Harry tells us both what to do, and we do it. They chuck the papers aside, watching as I slide across the desk to join the rest of the jumbled reports. I stare them down, perplexed. They really have nothing for me? No brief before I meet the most important man in Escria? That's it. August shrugs, nods. That's it. I suspect Harry will be looking to take full advantage of your fresh, unbiased eyes. Everyone here is too close to this. A stranger is exactly what we need right now.
Look, I don't know how you're used to doing things, but throw all of that out the window. Everything changes. Here. Now.
I hear footsteps in the hall, and August quickly rises to their feet. They straighten their clothes and tie their sash a little tighter. I follow their lead and move to stand at their side, my heart hammering triple time on my chest as those footsteps draw nearer. There's a distant clang of metal, of armor and heavy boots. Then the door swings open and an imposing figure enters the room. Hey. Oh, his design, just the gold, the like, I don't know if they're really pauldrons, I guess, kind of, right? And then the gauntlets, the sword. Gorgeous. His gaze flickers between myself and August, his expression stern and almost emotionless. I've heard many tales about Harold Addington III, and as he stands before me, I feel a certain sense of pride that he would choose to summon me to deal with such a vital case. He's adorned in the standard enforcer colors of black and gold, but his outfit is far more regal than any of the other higher-ranking officials I've seen. You know what, I think August made the right choice when they did not go with the regular enforcement uniform. They suit the blue much better. I think they would look good. I think they could absolutely pull literally anything off. But yeah, I do love their outfit. A wild smile breaks out across his scarred lips, and he pulls August into a tight embrace, a deep, comforting chuckle rumbling in his chest.
Old friend, how the devil are you? It's been a while. Too long, I say.
Once again, the voice acting. It's so good, and I'm so glad they got a voice actor for Harry. I think it just adds so much, especially when it is talented. He pulls away, still firmly holding onto August's shoulders. You look exhausted. Have you not been sleeping? August offers him a wry smile as Harry drops his hands. I'm trying to sleep. Does that count? Harry throws them a look, something stern but edged with a certain fondness, one that a father might give to their child. That's kind of their dynamic, and, you know, I know August didn't have, like, a great family relationship growing up, so, you know, having Harry there, but, yeah. I mean, this is definitely not a spoiler-free stream, but, yeah, it just makes me sad.
Look after yourself, Augustus.
August nods once, still smiling as Harry turns to stand before me.
Hunter, it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Oh my god.
I can finally put a face to all those impressive reports I've read.
Tobin's impressive face. He offers me his hand, and I eagerly take it. It's a pleasure to meet you too, Lieutenant General Addington, sir. He smiles warmly, keeping his grip on my hand, his other holding my forearm. He's got me a lock.
Harry is fine. None of that formal nonsense. If we're going to be working together for the foreseeable future, we might as well get familiar, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, of course, sir. Harry. He laughs, and I feel incredibly relaxed in his presence. Now, let's get to the business, shall we? August hands him a standard issue file sealed with wax bearing the Scarlet Enforcer emblem. They watch me carefully as Harry breaks his seal, a heavy sigh falling from his lips as he quickly scans the report. He closes his eyes, handing the papers back to August before he turns his back to both of us. A silent moment passes, and Harry rounds his shoulders, clicking his neck before facing us. Let's make a stress break. It's a quick little stretch.
You know, I've worked for the Enforcers for nearly 30 years, and I've never felt quite so useless. We've lost some of our best, our brightest, kindest.
Harry pauses, the waver in his voice evident as he composes himself.
I am truly at a loss, and I'm finding it hard to remove my emotions from the equation when it's my own people being needlessly slaughtered.
August averts their gaze, stealing a quick glance at me, seemingly sussing out my reaction, but also giving Harry a moment of privacy.
Nothing can bring them back, but we can bring those responsible to justice.
Suddenly it hits me. The victims were hunters, weren't they?
Yes, they were hunters, just like you.
That's not scary at all. Harry huffs a quiet laugh, clearing his throat.
I know we're putting a great deal of responsibility on your shoulders, but I have never-ending faith that you're the one who can help end this madness. Do you have any questions?
Alright. We'll ask about the victims. How many victims do we have so far? August looks at Harry for guidance, and Harry nods his permission.
4, but we anticipate more. The victim has shown up every 7 days for the past month.
Yes, with the most recent being 6 days ago, which is when I called for you. Enough is enough.
So, murder tomorrow.
We're due a body, if our calculations are correct.
Harry clears his throat and twists the gold band on his finger.
I'd like you to concentrate on the latest victim for now. Male, 46 years of age, a general. He was one of our best. We owe him this.
I take a deep breath before I ask my next question, feeling immensely guilty before it even falls from my lips. Were all of them burned? I saw the ash in the charred ground. Each body has been burned very badly, yes, to the point where we cannot determine what wounds he sustained beforehand. Not even with magic? He shakes his head, exchanging a look with August, one I can't quite place. Not even with magic. Are there any patterns? Other than the timing of the murders, are there any other patterns I should be aware of? Harry's mouth twists into a grimace, and he shakes his head. I hope you don't think ill of me, but I'd rather not tell you at this point. He and August share a look, and August seems perplexed by this statement. Harry places his hand on August's shoulder, a reassuring touch, a smile, then he's looking back at me. Please, just trust me, both of you. I want you to go out there and see things with your own eyes. Utilize your abilities. Then we can discuss what we've already discovered. This is a complex case with many intricacies, but I think it's important that you don't let our opinions cloud your judgment. As terrifying and as baffling as this may seem, I see where Harry's coming from. I don't want to be influenced by an investigation that's so obviously failing. So, where would you like me to start? I almost expect them to tell me to figure it out myself, but Harry surprises me. Well, the most obvious of places would be the Ibex. I don't know how to pronounce that word. And they might say it in some of the dialogue. We're going with Ibex. The what?
Curious pair are the Woodridge twins. They've taken up residence in the old church in the middle of town. I'm sure you've seen it.
I saw it all right. Big, imposing, and very obviously dilapidated. Yes, I did notice that. It's quite hard to miss, but I assumed it was empty with it being in such a state of disrepair. We can only dream that it becomes vacant, unfortunately. August clenches their fists, the faintest flicker of magic shimmering in their palm.
They're a plague upon this town, spouting their drivel and preaching to the dumb and ignorant. They're idiots.
Augustus. August takes a deep breath, their magic dissipating.
Right. Sorry. Well, I'm not fond of them, if you couldn't already tell.
Harry and I share a glance, and he smiles warmly, winking at me.
Oh, I think we got the picture. Now, as I said, I suggest you start with them. Just see what you make of them. You might need to play along with the woman. She tends to favor playing games. Anything to baffle you.
Have they already been questioned? Are they dangerous? Oh, uh-oh.
Self-voicing disabled.
Sorry. Hit the wrong key. Are they human? Harry shrugs, and August's annoyance at him being so unbothered is obvious.
Yes, they're human, and yes, they've been questioned. Hunter Merriman saw to that, but she and the woman have a rather tumultuous relationship.
Their alibi is started. They have a guard, a human who has connections to Clan Casimir. She has no reason to support the Ibex other than just doing her job. I'd still be interested to hear what you think of her, though.
So, in theory, they're harmless, but they do have the people's ear for some bizarre reason.
They prey on fear, and the town is infected with that right now. Be cautious of them. They certainly won't take kindly to you.
Oh, I think the General can handle them just fine. Have some faith, August.
August waves her hand dismissively, wandering over to a filing cabinet that's nestled in the far corner while muttering something under their breath. A warm hand touches my arm. We trust you, Gray.
Now, once you've spoken to them, I suggest just going where your gut tells you. There are plenty of other Lunarians for you to get to know, so just take today to really find your feet. I must meet with August and some of the other generals now, but please report back to us in the morning. Unless you find any damning evidence, of course, in which case, report back immediately.
Yes, sir. I nod, glancing over at my superior, who seemed to have taken upon themselves to dive headfirst into yet another pile of paperwork. Trust no one, right?
Not a bloody soul. Suspect everyone. Question everything.
I close the door behind me, leaving August and Harry with their discussion. I feel a bit overwhelmed, but ready. Ready to finally start my investigation and to hopefully end all of this chaos. I take a deep breath and straighten my clothes, feeling ruffled from both that initial heated encounter and the brief but semi-informative conversation with the Lieutenant General. As I turn to leave, I spot Piper leaning against the wall. She looks stoic, her gaze fixed on the floor, but she perks up when she spots me approaching. Oi, Gray, I can call you that, can I? She makes a quiet, frustrated noise and closes her eyes. She shakes her head, exhaling sharply before she meets my gaze. Listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that exchange. I couldn't bring myself to leave without apologizing for my behavior both today and in the tavern the other day.
It's been a rough few weeks, and I often let my passion overrule any rational thoughts that I promise I am capable of having. It's unbecoming of me.
Oh. I'm taken aback by the vulnerability of her words. This isn't the Piper I thought I'd have to become accustomed to. Piper, She raises her hand to hold my words, callous fingers curling to a fist.
Please, just let me apologize, all right? Then we can pretend I never acted like a complete asshole, and you can go and do your job.
So, she sticks out her hand, her daggers clinking noisily when they rest in the holster on her back.
The name's Piper Merriman.
So sweet. She rolls her eyes, taking a deep breath before her next sentence.
Major Piper Merriman.
She throws me a wicked grin, and I can't help but laugh. I really want to flirt with her. No, we're yeah. You're allowed to be upset. I place my hand on top of hers, carefully lowering it to her side. You really don't have to apologize, Piper. I know how hard this must be for you. She clears her throat, her grin morphing into a wry smile. Yes, well, still no reason to be a twat to you. It's not your fault. Her smile widens, her eyes sparkling, and I sense she's up to no good. Was it, Gray? Did you plan all of this so you get to come here and meet me, the infamous Hunter Merriman? I huff a laugh and shake my head quicker than's probably necessary. Don't let your head grow too much. You won't fit through the doors. She studies August's office with twisted lips. She makes a disgusted noise, her nose crinkling.
Ugh, and be stuck here with Willenheim. Perish the thought.
Piper glances at the clock before turning back to me with a roll of her eyes.
Ugh, I better get going. I have an inevitably worthless mission to get on with. People in this town are adept at mistaking common house cats for ghastly creatures. Must be something in the water.
I should go too. Yes, of course. Now, off you go. Save Lunaris and all that. I'll see you around, Gray. She turns on her heel and heads for the exit, pulling her chestnut hair up into a messy bun as she goes. I gather my wits, checking my supplies and weapons, adjusting my armor. It's time to begin. I'm going to take a quick break, if I can figure out how to do that. Uh-oh. Not great at this yet. Yeah, maybe we'll just keep going. I don't know how to switch it yet. So, yeah, it's fine. It's a strangely beautiful day in Lunaris, regardless of the biting cold. The sky is clear, and the cobbled streets are abuzz with the smiling faces of townsfolk strolling to the local market with empty baskets and full pockets. There's certainly a different vibe than the last time I walked the street. No panic, no haste. As I draw near to the center of town, I see that imposing white building. Scarlet flags sway in the wind on the roof. But as I look closer, I can see that they're tattered and dirtied. Twins may very well be human, but the way my stomach drops and twists as I approach the weathered wooden door tells me I might be shocked by what I'll find inside. Again, this one is just beautiful. I mean, anything. I just love stained glass, and it's gorgeous. I push open the heavy doors, and the sight I'm met with snatches my breath from my lungs. This place is huge. Its dome ceiling was seemingly once decorated with an intricate painting, but the layers have cracked and peeled over time, and nothing more than remnants of what looks like starry night sky cling to it. The furniture is caked in a thick layer of dust, and the pews are in disarray and covered with strange etchings that look like they've been carved into a cheap wood with a blunt nail. There's a lot to take in, but I'm not here to scour this ruin for evidence. I'm here to talk to its inhabitants. The dread that now firmly seated in the pit of my stomach churns violently, but it's something old, something that lingers. I anticipate that I might find a lot more that I'm bargaining for if I truly desire, but I need to focus. I need to find the Woodbridge twins. As if by magic, two pairs of startlingly bright blue eyes emerge from the shadows, near the destroyed pulpit. Again, terrifying. Hello, Hunter. We've been expecting you. To say that they're unusual would be an understatement, and they're not at all what I expected. We will start slow. Play it easy. Offer a small, friendly smile, however forced it may be. Word travels fast in Lunaris. I'm Hunter Enright. She narrows her eyes at me, suspicious for the briefest moments, before she's smiling unnervingly again. Despite her best effort at apparently trying to be cute, it's still terrifying. Yeah, it's just a bit of like a wolfish feeling. I do love her necklace though. It's very cute. I'm Aurora, and this is my dear brother, Armaros. I realize I've never actually said the word out loud. Armaros. We're gonna go with Armaros. That's what we're going with. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but we're going with Armaros. Just keep saying it. It'll click. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Hunter Enright. I nod politely, not quite sure which of them I should be focusing my attention on. Armaros doesn't seem to enjoy talking, or maybe he's simply not permitted to. His overbearing sister is clearly the leader of the two. I'm talking to her. I studied her steeled gaze, and she seems completely at ease. Aura, can you tell me what you do here? Armaros looks relieved that I didn't focus my attention on him, his one stiff shoulders sagging. Eyes starting. Aurora clears her throat, a delicate hand covering her mouth as she does so. Well, what exactly would you like to know? What is the Ibeck? I clear my throat, trying not to be distracted by their unnatural stillness. Can you explain to me what you do and why? They share a look, and Armaros nods once under his sister's ice-cold gaze. Our purpose is simple. We spread the word of the night, of those who are oppressed and murdered in cold blood. And who exactly are the oppressed? She giggles, sound musical, but edging on maniacal. The creatures, of course. I look at Armaros and he drops his gaze, color sweeping across his pale cheeks. Is my answer not satisfying, Hunter Enright? Surely you know that the institution that you serve brings harm to innocence. That the creatures you kill are nothing more than confused and lost, merely looking for salvation. I pause, carefully contemplating my response. My adult life has consisted on seeing bloodthirsty creatures trying to mindlessly murder innocent people, and in turn trying to kill me as I protect them. I see no desire for salvation in that. I appreciate that there are creatures who don't intend to harm anyone, even some that are kinder than most humans. Met a couple of them. But I smile again and take a deep breath. But I cannot bring myself to understand how you can so blindly support the slaughter of your own people. Armaros frowns deeply, and I swear I see him shaking his head at me, but it's just subtle enough for his sister not to notice. Because humans are inferior and pathetic. We infest and corrupt the earth by dedicating our time and resources to ridding it of the one thing that gave our wretched species any hope. She inhales sharply, calming herself and brushing her hands over the front of her skirt. So, Hunter Enright, to answer your questions, you're here to protect the creatures, just as you are here to destroy them. Okay, what do you know about the murders then, bestie? I'm sure you're very aware of the recent murders in the area. Can you tell me anything that might be of use to my investigation? Aurora steals her gaze, unblinking, her fingers clasped tightly in front of her. We saw nothing, and we have an alibi. I look at Armaros, startled that he actually spoke. His voice is strangely soft and comforting. Regardless, his words sound practiced and rehearsed. He looks nervous, like he'd rather be anywhere else but here, and his eyes keep darting to the door behind me. Nothing at all? You're stationed right beside the graveyard where the last hunter's body was discovered. You're telling me you didn't hear a thing? He was brutally murdered, set alight, and burned to ash, and yet he didn't scream or call for help? Aurora's lip curled to the corners, her eyes turning dark. My brother speaks the truth, Hunter Enright. Question us all you like, but we've been through this with your insufferable predecessor. Just as Harry said, they have apparently have an ironclad alibi, but my suspicion does not waver. For a suspicious town, y'all would be single most suspicious. I nod once, noticing Omarosa's gaze burning into me, and though I cannot gauge how he's feeling, my gut tells me he has something to say. Something he wouldn't dare to with his sister by his side. Like he's scared. I'm starting to feel like Harry sent me here just to unnerve me. Surely he knew this is what I would be faced with. I still have little to nothing to work with here, and as the twins continue to stare me down, I think about his parting words. Suspect everyone, question everything. You truly have nothing else to say regarding the situation. Aurora stands firm, her lips curling into that wolfish grin once more. Not a thing. It was ever so wonderful to make your acquaintance, though. Oh, was it? Truly? Okay. Do stop by again. Our doors are open to everyone. We're more than happy to accommodate you should your agency need to question us for a third time. Omeros gives me a look again, and I wonder if it would be possible to somehow get him alone. I have a feeling I get a lot more out of him than I have from her. Thank you, Aurora. Omeros. On my way out, I see a small, neatly wrapped package sitting on the doorstep. I bend down to check the label, and written on an elegant script are the words, Zetsawa. What? Yeah, we'll go with that pronunciation. And Omeros' name paired with a small heart. Cute. I may not know what it means, but I know a demonic language when I see one. Just as I expected, there might be a lot more to Amoros Woodridge than meets the eye. I walk through the center of town for a while, getting to know the buildings and watching the people that pass me by. Lonars turns to a quiet, nervous town when the sun begins to set, and I wonder if it's only recently lost its warmth. I consider heading for the graveyard, something tugging on me and telling me that there's more to me to find, but Alcar suddenly appears from beneath the crooked houses, sending two children that were playing in the street scattering. Oh.
What the hell have you been doing in that damned church? Are you feeding into their bullshit already?
He pauses, huffing a sharp breath through his nose.
I thought you'd be different. Just like everyone said you would be. How stupid of me to want to believe them.
No, I am different. This certainly isn't the first time I've been caught off guard by an angry lichen, but it's safe to say I don't need to fear for my life here. Maybe. He does look pretty pissed. It's not what you think, Alcar. I was just questioning them. He scoffs, rolling his eyes. His hands are shaking, but he balls them in the fist when he catches me looking. Is that so? And why should I believe you? I don't even know you. No, you don't, which is why you should consider giving me the benefit of the doubt. I'm just trying to do my job. Do you suggest I ignore the very obvious cult in the middle of town? His wolf ears flicker back and forth, and he unclenches his fists. You were just questioning them? I nod. Yes, I was hardly agreeing with them for their hatred for me. He rolls his eyes at me, standing his ground. Something has me curious, and I can't resist asking. They want to protect you from the likes of me, so why do you despise them so much?
Because they couldn't care less about those of us that don't enjoy killing humans mindlessly. Because we're not real creatures if we stay out of trouble and befriend humans or each other.
Yeah, it's messed up. So if you dare to act even remotely human, you're the enemy too? He smirks, brow raised.
Aha. Now you're getting it.
Alcar is apparently defensive to a fault, but I sense under that surface he's probably just scared. Maybe even a little lonely. It must be hard to be feared like that when you've done nothing wrong. At least I don't think he's had. He's kind of a bastard. Aww. You have any friends here? Or were you following me? Do you have any friends? I hope you have friends, even if you don't say you do. Are you close with anyone in town? He bristles, his tail swaying behind him. That's an odd question, and close is reaching. Do you at least know anyone in town? You and Piper seem to wear at each other. He scoffed, his lips curling in disgust.
Merriman and I are not close. Unless you consider her kicking my ass her way of showing affection.
It is. I tilt my head, contemplating that she actually might. It is. Depends on what you're into, I suppose. Trust me when I say Miriam and I are not friends. And you truly have no one? He softened slightly, his gaze dropping to the ground. I have friends, I suppose, then Ezra. Maybe even the demon. You're literally in love with him. And her! Come on now.
It's easier for me to keep my distance. Anyone who gets close to me always gets hurt.
Is that so? I think about the way he acts, his cockiness and his smirking, flashing fangs. Is all of that just to keep others away? To keep them wary? I suppose it works as much as also earns him their bad opinion. Why do you ask, anyway? You seem lonely, that's all. He straightens up, his wolf ears pressed flat against the skull.
Well, maybe I like being lonely. Have you considered that? I am a wolf, after all. Aren't we supposed to be solitary creatures?
No. Well, that depends. Surely you have a pack. He stiffens at that. His neck words are firm and final. No. And don't ask me about that again. Sadness swiftly replaced any trace of anger that I feel from him. I'm sorry. I won't mention it again. Thank you, Hunter. A moment passes, and Alfred restlessly shifts from one foot to the other. He doesn't seem incredibly satisfied with my answer about questioning twins, but I can't really do anything more to convince him. Nor do I care to right now. So where are you headed now? Do you live nearby? He narrows his eyes at me, clearly contemplating if he wants to divulge this information. Why? Just curious. I'd like to keep an eye on you. I'd like to get to know you. God. Every time, I'm just like, I want to flirt with them. I'm just curious. I'm just asking in an attempt to be friendly. You don't have to tell me.
That simple, huh? I live around, in places.
Very specific, Alcar. I scoff a laugh, earning a raised brow and a flick of his ears. Very specific.
I'm a specific guy.
He glances up to the sky, muttering something under his breath before he sets his gaze upon me once again.
It's getting dark, and there's a cold drink with my name on it at the Wolf. As much as I'd love to stay standing in the middle of the street talking to Lunaris' new favorite person, I'd better dash.
His little cut up for his tail is so cute. He turns as he's about to leave, but he pauses, pointing at the ibex. The building looms over the town and appears even more unsettling now that I know who resides there.
Stay away from them. You might think you're safe because they're human, but words can do just as much harm as knives or claws in this town.
I get the horrible feeling that he's right, that maybe I should have pushed harder with them. I should be asking him about the murders too, but Harry told me to trust my instincts, and right now something is pulling me towards that graveyard, not towards a scrappy, sarcastic wolf. I'll be careful. See to it that you are, Hunter. This town might fucking implode if it has to deal with much more. Uh-oh. He makes a dismissive noise, scowling at me, but he's unable to mask his obvious worry for my well-being. Not that I care. Anyway, I'll see you around. He offers me a half-assed wave, paired with a decidedly mischievous grin, and then Alker slinks back into the alley from whence he came. I am going to take a quick break. I don't know how to switch the screen. I'm sorry, but I will be right back. Okay, hello. Sorry. A quick break there. Eventually, I will learn how to switch streams and go to, or switch screens and go to the Be Right Back. My first time with the Twitch studio. But yeah, let's dive back in to this graveyard. The graveyard looks so different at night. Beautiful even. The fog twists and curls around my ankles as I walk. Glimmering specks of vivid blue light sparkling in the haze. It's beautiful. I love the like the night and day, like how do I frame this? The day backgrounds and night backgrounds of how much it switches, and just I don't know, I love it. I love the contrast of it, and it's beautiful. This game, it's beautiful. All the artwork in this game is beautiful. The writing is awesome. I just rave about it. I love it. Also, I literally forgot what scene's coming up. But this is, yeah, it's one of my favorite Finn scenes in the game. Thankfully, the darkness is a little more forgiving this evening, and something seems to be guiding me along and leading me right to the place where the murder happened. I'm hoping that I might be able to get a clear idea of what transpired here that night, now that I know who he was or what he was. I follow the path and see a dark figure crouching before a neat line of gravestones. There's no danger here, not that I can feel, but I approach with caution anyway. As I draw nearer, I recognize him. It's Finn. Oh. I'm no fool, and I know he senses me here, but he doesn't flinch, keeping his gaze fixed on the dark forest that surrounds us. Oh, we're gonna talk. He knows I'm here. He knows I'm here. No warm welcome this time. I clear my throat, quirking my brow as he stands and turns to face me, effortlessly graceful. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh god, I love so many CGs in this game. This is definitely one of my favorites. He's so handsome. I think it's this one, and then Piper's. Oh god, is it her chapter 7 one? Piper's chapter 7 one is just stunning. But yeah, this one, he's so sweet here. My cat just woke up. Hi, Lucy. She says hello. There are no walls for me to pin me against out here. How will you cope? His golden eyes shine in the darkness, and he offers me a sheepish glance.
When good people are getting brutally murdered, my instincts tend to get the better of me. But I apologize again. I'll do anything you require for you to feel comfortable around me.
No mind reading? He shakes his head quickly.
No mind reading, unless you ask, of course. Or unless you have any particularly loud thoughts. Then I'm afraid there's not much I can do to help it.
A smirk hooks the corner of his mouth, and he offers me his iron hand, switching to his flushed one when I throw him a curious look.
Both are just as cold as the other, unfortunately.
Truce? I shrug heartily and shiver as his cold skin meets my warm, his handshake firm. Truce. I really need to have a look around. I sense some things near where the body was found the night after I arrived. He pauses, looking as though he's trying to decide if he should say what he's thinking.
There's definitely a strange energy here. Stranger than usual, anyway. But I can help you, if you wish. I mean, if you wanted an immortal opinion.
How exactly can you help me? Oh, his laugh is so cute. He has a quiet laugh and folds his arms across his chest.
Would an excellent sense of smell and the ability to see things your human eyes cannot be of use?
Well, maybe. I feign disinterest, a playful roll of my eyes as he waits for my response. I suppose I shouldn't dismiss any help, but how do I know you're not the thing committing these horrible crimes? I've been told to trust no one more times than I can count. So tell me, Finn, why should I trust you? Other than you being incredibly handsome and wonderful. He offers me a wry smile, but sadness lingers in his gaze.
Freedom.
Freedom? He nods again, taking another deep, unnecessary breath.
I've been trying to become a better man since the day I died. My sire was a cruel man, a tyrant. Being around that for centuries does something to you.
Where's your sire now? He swallows thickly, rubbing the back of his neck. It's almost a nervous gesture, and the first time I've seen him do anything that looked remotely human or graceless. Also, his theme, I don't remember what the title of this track is, but the theme that plays pretty much whenever he's on screen is oh, it's the Art of Silence. Beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's one of my favorites in the game. I keep saying, I feel like I say that all the time, but I just love this game. I have so many favorites. Dead. Killed by your Lieutenant General. I owe Harry my life. He freed me from Levi's shackles. Is it Levi or Levi? I think it's Levi, right? Jeans. He pauses, head tilted towards the night sky, and he closes his eyes. A smile crosses his lips. Something wicked.
I've done terrible things in my time, and I intend to pay penance for those for the rest of my days. Which, if you hadn't heard, is forever.
There's so many things I long to ask him. He's seen so much, done so much, and I assume lost so much.
So, to answer your question, I value doing the right thing above all else. Even if sometimes I tend to stumble a little. Metaphorically, of course.
I offer him a wry smile, watching him watch me. I mean, I do want to spend time with him, but we're sticking to our guns here. I will not be drawn onto anyone's romance path. We're doing the romance route. I just appreciate the help, and it has nothing to do with me wanting to spend more time with you. I think I'll need all the help I can get, so thank you, Fen. I take a deep breath, exhaling sharply. So, where the hell do we begin? He quirks a dark brow at me, fangs shining when he speaks. You're the expert. Shouldn't you be telling me? I rush past him, returning a smile as I head for the site of the murder. Don't push your luck, vampire. He smiles, a quiet chuckle, and he dutifully follows me. We stop at the charged patch of grass, and Finn bends to pick up one of the bloody shards of the shattered greystone. He brings his nose, glancing at me before he gives it a tentative sniff. He wrinkles his nose, apparently repulsed by whatever scent he's picked up. He hands me the stone, wiping his hands off on his trousers.
I suggest you keep that. That's not something I've experienced before, and I've smelled a lot of different things in my time. It seems off. If it's from a creature, it's certainly not one I've come across in my 600 years.
Oof. I throw him an accusatory glance before I turn my attention back to what he's handed me. I put it in my pocket for safekeeping, confused about why such a thing was left uncollected. You can't pick up anything familiar at all? Which must mean it's not the victim's blood. He shakes his head. Definitely not his. Well, here goes nothing. I do exactly as I did last time. Close my eyes, concentrating and pouring all of my energy into seeking out that lingering memory. Just as I remember, painful, loud, and I almost can't bear it as a deep, scared voice echoes in my mind. Leave while you still can. I feel a force pushing at me, and it's weak and nothing I can't handle, so I fight it and hold my ground. It's not hostile, but panicked. It's trying to tell me to go, to get out, to run. That just makes me want to stay all the more. I hear Finn saying my name, but it's quiet. It's almost as if I'm underwater. I want to help. Tell me how. Who did this to you? No help. Just death. You can't stop them. I tried. I failed. The voice quickly disappears, and all I'm left with are more questions. I open my eyes to find Finn crouched before me, his eyes wide and concern etched across his face. Gray? What the fuck was that? You didn't hear that? Hear what? I wasn't trying to listen. I didn't want to risk my abilities interfering with yours. I exhale sharply, shaking my head. It was the hunter. That's never happened before. What do you mean? I mean, I feel things. I hear things sometimes too, but I've never directly spoken to a spirit like that before. At least that's what I think it was. I should go. We both move the sand, and my legs feel a little shaky beneath me. Hey, take it easy. I nod, regarding immediately as a wave of dizziness overtakes me. Oh there, are you sure you're good to go alone? Yes, I'll be fine. I just need...
You need to go and seek out Ezra. He can help you. Trust me. He's good with weird shit like this.
I contemplate heading back to see August, but I suspect they wouldn't appreciate me disturbing them at this hour with little more than a ghost story. You're right, I'll head for a shop immediately. Finn nods, still watching me carefully. Be careful. It's straight there, okay? I will. Thank you, Finn. See you around, Gray. He turns and heads for the forest, a final glance over his shoulder before he disappears. Now, I need to find Ezra and fast. I hurry to the shop, still unsteady on my feet, and my mind is reeling. What the hell is going on in this town? I round the corner and see the lantern outside. The shop is dark. I didn't realize how late I'd gotten, and I can only hope he's home. I knock on the door and hear a loud crash, followed by quick footsteps. Hey, sweetie. Oh. His little tusks are so cute. The door creaks open, and a face that definitely isn't Ezra's appears. I'm taken aback by the sight of Omen, his eyes wide as he stares at me. Are you supposed to be in there, Omen? He blinks, and a moment later he smiles, full of sheepish remorse. That answers my question, though it's difficult to work up any annoyance if he's actually trespassing. Is he influencing me with his powers, or is his human face just that cute? Aww. He's just cute. He's just a cutie. Yes, I'm maybe kind of living here right now. Oh, really? He smiles shyly, his ears twitching as he looks away for a moment. Is Ezra here? He shakes his head, opening the door a little bit more.
No, he went out. He said he wouldn't be long, but I don't know when he'll be back.
His eyes widen a little more as if he's remembering something. Sorry, would you like to come in? I contemplate rushing off to continue my search for Ezra, but I'd be stupid to miss the chance to find out a little more about this curious demon. I'd love to, but just for a moment. There's a neat pile of little cushions arranged on the rug in the middle of the shop, and a handful of empty wrappers, which I can only assume were once filled with treats. Sweet tooth. Owen brushes to pick them up and scrunches them into a ball as if he's trying to get rid of the evidence. His tail switches mindlessly as he sticks them in a small bin hidden behind the counter. He seems oddly at home here, so I assume he's telling the truth about staying here often. You look exhausted. Have you been busy today? I laugh quietly, rubbing my temple as my head continues to thrum. Very busy, yes. He nods, picking up a lightly glowing blue crystal that sits on one of his plates. He fiddles with it nervously. Can I ask you a few questions? I suppose, yes. I might not be able to answer much, though. Why? He grimaces.
I try to stay out of things around here. The humans don't like me very much.
Oh, well, they have bad taste then. Because you're a demon? His mouth twists in something that looks like it's trying and very much failing to be a smile. Something like that. I suppose that's fair. It's not every day you see a demon like him walking down the streets, even these days. He's well glamored, but he's still quite obviously inhuman. In a town like this, especially one so small, I imagine he's an unnerving presence. He's so cute, though. He went her to fly. Let's just ignore the fact that he's a terrifying demon underneath that glamour. He's sweet. Actually, I'm very obsessed with Omen and just... I don't know, I love the idea that he, again, it kind of relates back to the idea of, like, choosing to be good, which I think is one of the main themes in the game, and Omen really kind of exemplifies that, and as well as all the characters do, but Kim just, like, actively choosing to be good because of his love of humanity, and there's a few lines sort of scattered throughout his route that really kind of play into that idea of, like, he's really his love of humanity is kind of the driving force of, like, his characterization and everything, and that, you know, he could be something terrible and evil, but he chooses not to, and that love kind of protects everyone in the town, if that makes sense. It's kind of rambly, but I don't know, I love him. And that isn't even taking into consideration what murders and unanswered mysteries might have done to the townfolk's nerves. Okay, we won't open with the murders. We'll ask him about himself. I don't know much about you. Where are you from, and how long have you been here in Lunaris? His eyes widen, his pupils dilating, and I see the slightest hint of chrism flickering in chestnut brown.
I've been here about 2 years. Time passes differently here for me, so it's hard to know for sure. You'd have to ask Ezra. He'd know.
I don't miss the way he tactfully ignored my question about his origins, but I decide not to press him if he's giving me something. Yet. How did you meet Ezra? He lights up at that question.
I met him the day I arrived in Lunaris. He was the first person I saw, and he took me in without question when I was in need of shelter.
He's so good. He's so sweet. Ezra's very kind, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He really is. He nods enthusiastically. He is quite wonderful. Everyone thinks so. Well, Well, he fidgets, dropping his gaze to his hands, fingers toying with the blue crystal again. The general, August, they don't like him very much, and that makes Ezra sad. August, what are you doing? Please be nice to Ezra. Do you know why? He shakes his head, biting his lip. No, and I didn't want to ask, but Finn says they've known each other a very long time.
Ezra has been very, very kind to me. I don't want to pry, not about things that might hurt to say or to hear.
God, everyone in this town. Everyone in this town. I know it's so late. It's hard to argue with that, I suppose. But also, yeah, I love that decision to have it be sort of Ezra and August with that tension, because you do have, like, objectively, like, the kindest person in town having this tension with August there, and it just, I don't know, it just adds so much to their dynamic there. I love it. Alright, we'll ask about the murders. Do you know much about the recent murders? Omen passively looks out the window, a sad look crossing his face.
I know that the humans are upset, and that the ones who were killed were hunters. Ezra is tired all the time, and Finn visits him less. Alcar is distant.
He sighs, a knot forming between his brows.
Everything is so different lately. I don't like it.
His eyes light up as he turns to look at
But
me.
now you're here. A solution. A fresh start.
Eventually, Omen shrugs. The wind changes, perhaps towards shore this time. And he smiles at me, full of optimism and faith. His trust is almost sweet, but I can't in good conscience lie to him. I hope so, Omen, but it might take me a little while. Right, yes, I understand that. He fidgets where he stands, his eyes flickering to the curtain that hides Ezra's living area. Can I show you something? Of course you can. One moment. He dashes through the curtain that separates the front of the shop at the back, reappearing within seconds, clutching a weathered notebook. Here, I keep notes on things I find interesting, mostly humans, but also Finn, Alcar, Ezra. He trails off, looking wistful.
I thought maybe this could help you. If you need to know stuff about certain people, I might have something here.
Anything about me? There definitely is, but again, no flirting, only murder solving. Can I borrow it? Omen opens the front cover, running a finger over the words. Pages are full to the brim with barely legible notes, all seemingly written quite hastily. Most of it isn't even a language I understand. Would I be able to borrow it? He tenses, his cheeks turning beet red as he closes it and holds it tight to his chest.
I'd like to keep it if that's okay. Though I'm happy to show you if you'd like.
Yeah, it's okay. My fingers twitch at the thought of what observations he might have made, but I daren't startle him by insisting. He seems skittish still, just like the first time we met. Maybe another time? Of course. I feel a sudden twang of pain in my temple again. The sensation is unpleasant and it burns. Great, are you okay? Owen rushes to my side, the notebook forgotten upon the counter. He reaches for me, but is hesitant. I feel an impossible warmth radiating off his palm, but he withdraws his hand before he touches me. I'm fine. I really need to find Ezra. Do you have any idea where he could be?
I don't know for sure, but he usually goes to the market or the tavern. Maybe even the catacombs.
The catacombs? He nods, leaning closer.
Yes, that's where the vampires are.
Good for him. He presses a finger to his lips. A human gesture looks out of place, like he's been practicing it.
I would try the tavern first, though. He did mention he needed a drink. He likes to drink a lot of wine after a busy day.
Me too. Me too. Thank you so much, Omen. I better hurry. Bye. I bid him a quick farewell and head back to the darkness. I push my way into the tavern, scanning every table for that shocked white hair, and, much to my relief, I see a friendly face I'm looking for. He's noticed me already. His hand raised as he beckons me over to where he sits alone in a cozy spot in the corner. His smile is as bright as wide as I remember, and I take a seat opposite him.
It's good to see you.
Hi.
I hope the town hasn't scared you off yet.
No, not yet. I raise an accusatory eyebrow at him, earning a laugh. Well, even if I was scared off, I can't really go anywhere, can I? Ezra smiles softly, but he seems restless. I suppose not, no.
What's that like? Being bound to do whatever you're told. by your duty.
It's lonely. I don't get to settle anywhere. I contemplate his question for a moment, wondering exactly how honest I should be. Well, it is quite lonely, especially when you're torn from your previous post and thrown to a weird town full of strangers. And murders. Don't forget those. He winks, a sparkle in his eyes. Oh, he's so cute. And murders, yes.
I'm sorry you have to endure that. Loneliness is a terrible thing, but you shall be lonely no more. We've got you now. We're here for you.
Thank you, sweetie. Oh, he cares. He cares so much, and he's so kind, you know. And Ezra's a character who's been through a lot, you know, and you learn on his routes and through throughout the game, like he lost a lot, right? And he didn't have to turn towards like healing people, you know. He could have sat with his, you know, loss and turned that to anger, but instead it turned to kindness and compassion, you know. And that really, again, that really exemplifies, you know, just choice to actively be good and kind. Love him to bits. He sits a little straighter, determined. We? He rolls his eyes playfully with a hand placed over his heart.
You wound me. Yes, we. Myself and Finn and Piper and, well, maybe even August, if you're lucky.
I laugh as Ezra grimaces at that thought.
You have people here. Some might be undead or just plain stubborn, but you have us.
Thank you, Ezra. That means a lot. He shrugs it off, running his fingers around the rim of his wine glass.
We've all been lonely at some point. Some of us will always be lonely, even surrounded by people. But if there's the smallest chance that you can quell that with some good company, then you should take it.
I think I'm with good company right now. He looks up at me, and I wonder how such a human exists. He's kind, and possibly so, and I find it very hard to believe it could ever be an act. So you friends here, Gray. The barmaid comes over and rolls her eyes, hand on her hip, as she addresses me rather curtly. Drink? Oh. Achievement unlocked. We visit the White Wolf. We'll have some wine. Sounds good. I dressed her at Ezra's half-empty wine glass, a dark liquid looking more than appealing. I'll have the same, please. She turns and wanders off with yet another roll of her eyes, and Ezra poorly stifles a laugh. Don't take it personally. That's Edna. She's notoriously short. I grimace, and as she returns my glass of wine, I nod politely. Thank you, Edna. Edna grunts, turning on her heel, throwing me a dismissive wave over her shoulder. Case in point. The wine tastes rich, and I eagerly savor the first sip. Are you okay? You seem tense. I was actually looking for you. I need to tell you something, but I need you to promise me you won't think I'm crazy.
You're talking to someone who lives in Lunaris. Try me.
I take a deep breath and edge closer, checking no one else is listening. I visited the graveyard after I left your shop yesterday to see the crime scene. I tried to get a feel for what happened there that night. Ezra leans in, his eyes wide. And I didn't really get much other than an overwhelming sense of loss, which is, well, quite normal considering the circumstances. People tend to feel such emotions when they're dying. But tonight, I went back. Finn was there too, and I felt something different. Different how, exactly? I half a laugh, knowing how ridiculous it sounds. I heard him. The hunter, the one who died, he spoke to me. Ezra's gaze darts around the tavern, and he sits back in his chair, running a hand through his hair. He wipes the look of shock off his face quickly, putting himself to rights. His voice is low when he next speaks, barely a whisper. You're sure? It was him? I nod. Positive. He told me to leave, that there's no hope in helping. Ezra leans forward again, pushing the wine glass aside, placing his hand up on the table, his fingers visibly twitching. I want to take his hand so bad. I love when he takes his hand, he like rubs his thumb against your hand. It's so cute. It's so romantic. I love it. What does it mean? What could this mean? Is such a thing even possible, or am I going mad? He drums a finger on the table, seeming contemplating his response.
Yes? It's possible, but usually only for those with psionic abilities. People have spoken to the dead before, but for a hunter to directly communicate with a spirit is unheard of. As far as I know, anyway.
That's why I only want his earring. It's so cute. I know we're talking about murders, but it's fashion. It's gorgeous. He withdraws his hands, clearly racking his brains for an answer. One that he's not going to find sat in this tavern, I suspect. Are you okay, though? Do you feel weird? I touch my fingers to my temple. Very. It's almost like he's still there in a way. I'm sorry you had to endure that. It must have been scary. I'm just thankful Finn was there. He managed to snap me out of it. Ezra smiles, tilting his head. He's a kind man. I'm glad he was there too. Oh, he's so beautiful. So, what now? He curls his fingers across the stem of his glass and sighs deeply.
I don't even know how to unpack this, but I do know that you need to rest. How's your head feeling?
I sigh, pushing my wine aside. Still hurting. Ezra fishes around in the pouch that is attached to his belt, retrieving a small vial full of what looks like a strange herb or flower. Here, crush this into boiling water and it should help with the headache. It's just some feverfew and vetiver. Completely natural, I promise. I take the vial and tuck it safely into my pocket. Do you have a pharmacy in there? He laughs softly, shaking his head. What kind of witch would I be if I didn't carry around a cure for a migraine? I should head back to the shop. I left Omen unattended with the kitchen cupboard unlocked. He'll eat me out of house and home. I did check there before I came here, and he'd gone into the suites. Shit. And that's definitely my cue to leave.
Whatever you experience today will still have happened tomorrow. I know what you hunters are like. No matter how scary August is, your report can wait until tomorrow.
I smile up at him as he stands to leave. I promise I'm drained, but I need my bed more than ever right now. Plus, I need to decide how to put all of this into words. This has changed everything for me, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid it did, just... He sighs deeply, resting a hand upon my shoulder.
Be mindful of who you share this information with, okay? There are eyes and ears everywhere.
Good night, Gray. Good night, Ezra. I stare out the window and spot the first snowflakes falling from a star-dusted sky. Winter has arrived in Lunaris. Alright, okay, my headache is persistent and I lay in bed, but nothing can possibly stop me from falling asleep after the day I've had. I finish the tea I made with the flowers Ezra gave me, hoping it begins to take effect. I close my eyes, but just before I drift off, a distant whisper. My name is James. Alright, and I think that's where we're gonna end this stream here. I think that's a good... Oh, sorry August, you're gonna have to wait. So we will save here, and yeah, we'll pick up here some other time. I don't know when. I definitely will want to sort of continue doing the streams. We'll probably do like 1 or 2 chapters per episode. I don't know how often it's gonna go. I don't know my schedule yet, but this was really fun. But yeah, I sort of hit around the 2-hour mark. Feels like a good kind of place to end off here. But yeah, thank you so much if you drop by, if you're listening in any of the VODs or anything at all. This is really fun to do. First time doing it ever, but I think I will absolutely do some more. I definitely want to stream all of this, and then some of the other games that Lunaris Games did, especially, oh my god, Iron Kingdom. We're exactly 90 days away. I have a reminder set. We are 90 days away for the release of Iron Kingdom, and you know I will be streaming that when that comes out, because I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm definitely going to hit some of the other indie games I love. I definitely think like Arcade Spirits, Andromeda 6, as the Our Life series, as well as some like fun demos. I made a whole list. I have a whole document of sort of indie games I want to play and stuff, including other things might not be visual novels like Stardew Valley, Hades, the Deltarune. Honestly, this was all an excuse. I just want to play Deltarune again. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, I will leave it off there. So thank you, and goodbye for now. See you soon.